Separating your feelings from analyzing a trade is as tough as taking emotions out of marriage. It just doesn't work that way. No matter how much you're into the game, you can't support a team without backing the players themselves. For anyone who's been a Knicks fan in the last 25 or so years, the emotions around this trade has been tricky. Most of the time, our approach to player trades has been a mess. Think of the worst bathroom at a highway rest stop, and you've got the idea. Finding players that make you excited and contribute to actual wins? That's been rare since the Ewing era. So when players like RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley show up, playing great and helping the team win, the idea of trading them hits hard. Here's why. They're young. There's so much more they can do. They're already good and getting better. They've helped the team win. Quickley, in particular, has made a real difference. And it's not clear if OG Anunoby actually makes the Knicks any closer to a championship. Given all this, it's no wonder people have mixed feelings about this trade. Adding the emotional aspect makes it even tougher. RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley weren't just players for the Knicks. They embraced and were embraced by New York. Barrett joined the team when it was at a low point, perhaps the least desirable spot in professional sports, and yet he couldn't have been happier. There's something special about a player who shows that level of commitment and enthusiasm despite the team's struggles. Quickley brought the same passion, but with a flair for shining in crucial moments. His way of handling big plays wasn't just about skill, it was about heart. He wasn't arrogant, but instead came across as someone who truly loved the game and loved being a part of the Knicks. This kind of genuine connection with a team and its city is rare and precious. Losing both of these players in one swift move is hard to come to terms with. It's not just about their skills on the court. It's about losing two individuals who have become part of the soul of the team and the community. Yet, the harsh truth of sports is that at the end of the day, we're all cheering for the team, no matter who wears the jersey. Players come and go, but our allegiance to the team outlasts any single player's career. Before we move on, we know you wouldn't want to miss out on more exclusive content like this. So, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with all the latest in the world of the Knicks. Let's continue. Leon Rose, like anyone leading a sports team, has a tough job. He needs to set aside his feelings and look at every deal with a clear, unemotional eye. His main concern isn't about how fans will react to a trade. Instead, it's about making the best strategic decisions for the team. When you strip away the emotions, this trade boils down to a few critical questions. 1. Can Quickley reach his peak while playing alongside Jalen Brunson? If not, what's the best way and time to use him to benefit the Knicks the most? 2. Is Quickley so talented that the Knicks should shuffle their roster to help him succeed? What would they have to give up, and how likely is it that these changes would work? 3. Will Barrett ever become a consistent player? More importantly, can he achieve this consistency playing with Julius Randle, given their lack of synergy over the past 4.5 years? 4. Can the Knicks really succeed with Brunson and Randle leading the way? Do they need an elite defensive wing with size, versatility, and enough offensive threat to balance the team? If they do, when and how could they get such a player? 5. What's the smarter move? Should they trade first-round picks, which are gold in the NBA, or should they trade Quickley, considering the questions about his future role on the team? All these factors make the trade decision complex. Rose has to weigh the immediate needs against the long-term goals, the team chemistry against individual talents, and the value of potential trades against what the team is willing to give up. Expanding on this trade's analysis, it may seem utterly incomprehensible to those who are firmly convinced that Emmanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett is on the path to becoming a recurring all-star. If you're a Knicks fan, there's a high likelihood that you see a bright future for at least one, if not both, of these players. The potential that RJ Barrett holds is tantalizingly elusive. His talent and promise are evident, even if the current data regarding his contribution to victories isn't entirely favorable. Moving on to Quickly, my expectations are high. I'd be genuinely surprised if he doesn't at least brush with all-star status a few times, especially now that he's alongside Scotty Barnes. This hinges, of course, on the Raptors pulling themselves together and securing another significant player who complements Barnes more aptly than Pascal Siakam. Sports bettors. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back. Real-time in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds, boosters, props and parlays, fast payouts, and exceptional customer service. We got it all. Who do you like in today's NBA action? Check out the link in the description to receive a 125% bonus match on your deposit when you sign up for BetUS.com, where the game begins. The reason for my confidence in Quickly isn't unfounded. We've witnessed his capabilities firsthand. Reflect on last season when he stepped up as a starter in 21 games, often in place of Jalen Brunson. He posted an impressive average of 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, not just filling Brunson's shoes, but doing so with remarkable efficiency. In this new setup with Barnes, Quickly is likely to find an even more synergistic partnership than he had with Randle. The Raptors, with their clear path for Quickly's ascendancy, are poised to let him take the reins and truly thrive. Anticipate seeing Quickly not just doing well, but truly excelling in this role. Switching focus to OG Anunoby, his transition may present some challenges. Anunoby's integration into a team led by ball-heavy players like Brunson and Randle could be a complex process. Unlike a traditional guard, Anunoby's playmaking isn't his standout feature. His success will heavily depend on how well he can gel with his teammates and fit into the existing system. His strengths are undeniable, but leveraging them will require a supportive environment and a strategy that capitalizes on what he does best. The Knicks will have to craft a style of play that allows Anunoby to utilize his skills effectively, which may not be straightforward given the team's current dynamics. To put it simply, there will be times this season when this trade seems like a bad move, possibly even a terrible one. This could be especially true if RJ Barrett finds his groove playing back in his home country. Yet none of this alters the fact that the Knicks were stuck in a tough spot. Neither Immanuel Quickley nor RJ Barrett seemed like the magic solution to this dilemma. The issues with Barrett have been clear for a while. He's struggled to fulfill the expectations of a big wing player. His current performance level has been more of a hindrance than a help to the team's progress. The situation with Quickly is a bit different. There might have been a scenario where he became the starting guard alongside Brunson, something many Knicks fans have suggested. This might have required a change in coaching, but that's a normal part of the game. Coaches come and go. Let's imagine this change happened, and it worked out well. Even then, would this new lineup make the Knicks a solid bet against the top teams in the East in the coming years? Teams like Boston and Milwaukee have size in every position, and let's not forget players like Dame, who neither Brunson nor Quickly could effectively guard one-on-one. These top-tier teams would likely exploit the Knicks' lack of size relentlessly. It's a complicated situation. On one hand, sticking with Quickly and Barrett might have seemed like the safer, more familiar choice. But on the other hand, the Knicks needed to shake things up to stand a chance against the dominant forces in the league. It's a classic case of risk versus reward in team management. The Knicks had to decide whether to play it safe with known quantities or gamble on a new configuration that might, just might, give them the edge they need. This kind of decision-making is never easy, and it's often fraught with second-guessing and what-ifs. But that's the nature of professional sports. It's as much about the decisions off the court as it is about the performance on it. Quickly is undoubtedly a talented offensive player, but the big question is whether he's strong enough to lift a Brunson-Randle core to the level of teams like last year's Denver or this year's Milwaukee. These are squads that bet on their offensive mastery, confident in outscoring anyone, anytime, especially in crucial games. Frankly, I don't see Quickly being that transformative piece. And if he isn't, where does that leave the Knicks in finding that versatile wing player who could elevate them? We could go round and round with this analysis. It's probably not the best moment to mention Quickley's playoff performance last season when teams had the time to strategize against him, but it's a point worth noting. Also, consider the alternative scenario if the Knicks hadn't traded for Anunoby. The Philadelphia 76ers, already a challenging matchup for the Knicks, would have likely been the front-runner to sign him this summer. Imagine the impact of them adding a player like Anunoby to their lineup. We're talking about only 3 teams here, but they are critical when considering the Knicks' current position, right on the brink of contention. At this stage, every decision must be aimed at capturing the championship. The Knicks might have tested a Brunson-Quickley backcourt for a playoff run before deciding, but if it didn't yield the hoped-for results, trading later could have been even more challenging. Getting a return as beneficial as Anunoby in a sign-and-trade scenario would have been tough. Of course, there's always the chance that the Brunson-Quickley pairing could have worked out. We'll never know now, and that's part of the gamble, along with whatever potential RJ Barrett might have had. That's why this trade is a risk. But let's face it, every trade is a risk. And one thing is for sure, the Knicks were never going to just sit back and stick with the status quo. By acquiring Anunoby, the Knicks are getting a player every team in the NBA would love to have. Anunoby is one of the most versatile players in the league who isn't a recognized star. And frankly, he's more adaptable than many stars, including those on the Knicks roster. The front office has been eyeing him for over a year for a good reason. They understand something crucial. For a Brunson-Randle duo to truly work, they need a multifaceted player like Anunoby to bridge them. It's a bit misleading to keep saying, a player like Anunoby. The truth is, there's no one else in the league who brings the same unique mix of two-way skills that he does. And if this doesn't pan out, well, the Knicks would be back where they started, needing to enhance one of the core pieces with a bigger, better star. But with Anunoby in the mix, they now have a more attractive trade asset, or more likely, they might package Randle with all the picks to bring in a top-tier MVP candidate. The bet is, and Ian Begley hinted as much, that another significant move is on the horizon. This move will allow the front office to best assess the potential of a Brunson-Randle core and whether these Knicks can be a modern version of the 2004 Pistons. But that's a topic for another time. For now, Knicks fans are filled with both hope and sadness. The balance of those feelings, whether it's 50-50 or leans more one way, is up to the individual fan. Whichever way it leans, everyone's feelings are valid. That's the beauty of being a fan. It's a mix of emotions, speculations, and what-ifs, all woven together in the thrilling, unpredictable world of sports.